Hey, Holy Family, family faith folks, welcome back to our pilgrimage. I hope your walking has been fruitful and enjoyable and beautiful and surprising and all the things that you'd want a pilgrimage to be. We're using this image of a prism to sort of talk about how we're moving forward in the pilgrimage. And if you take this prism and put it to the light and then allow light to come through it, it refracts light in different ways. And so we're moving on to the third segment of the pilgrimage, which has to do with confirmation and affirmation. We're looking at each of the sacraments through this pilgrimage. So let me tell just one story about sort of affirmation and confirmation too, I guess. We're using both words. And the story comes from the movie Hook. If you haven't seen it, great Friday night family pizza deal. And the storyline is that Peter Pan has grown up, become a lawyer, and he's forgotten that he was Peter Pan. And Tinkerbell wants to bring him back and sort of remind him who he is. And Hook wants to have one more fight. So Hook kidnaps his kids, brings them to the land of Never Never Land, and then Hook comes back. But he doesn't, Peter Pan comes back, he doesn't remember that he is Peter Pan. And it's very enjoyable and funny and yeah, really, really good. So the crescendo of this is the Lost Boys are excited because Peter's back, but then clearly the dude's not Peter. And then the guy that's taken over for Peter is sort of offended that, like, who is this schmuck that's come back to, lead the Lost Boys? And then there's a chase scene that's hilarious. At the conclusion of the chase scene, the new Peter Pan takes his sword, makes a line in the sand and says, "Any of you here scoundrels think this here isn't Peter Pan, cross the line." And Peter Pan's the first one to go over. And then Tinkerbell has to pull him back. All the other kids go over. So nobody believes it's Peter Pan. And then there's this little teeny African-American kid who stops. He doesn't go all the way over. And he tugs on Peter Pan's pants and asks him to come down. And then the little boy takes Peter's face in his hands and just starts to sort of massage it and move it until he gets it to the point where it looks like the young Peter Pan. And the little African-American boy says, "Oh, there you are, Peter." I think this idea of affirmation and confirmation has something to do with how frequently we forget who we are. We forget that we're loved. We forget that we're called to love, to be part of our families. And so we have this moment of grace that basically over and over and over again reminds us, like, oh, there you are, Tommy. Oh, there you are, Julie. Oh, there you are, O'Brien family, etc., etc., etc. So one of the things we're hoping to do during this segment of our pilgrimage is to allow God to find us again, to remind us again of like who we are. And so it's going to be an enjoyable and surprising segment of our walk together on this pilgrimage, and I'm grateful to share it with you. Let's go. Let's keep walking, people. Amen.